Hi, my name is Angelina Rowe, and this is my Project One. So I'm going to be talking about three terms today from our textbook. The first one being role expectation, the second one being role performance, and the third one being social network. So for my first concept, I am talking about role expectation, which is found in chapter 4 on page 99. So role expectation is sort of society's expectation or definition on how a role plays out. So a role is basically the umbrella term here. So it is an individual's behaviors that are associated with um, status. So kind of like how they expect somebody to act, how they expect somebody to be. So for role expectation in my life personally, I am a server and bartender. So there is a lot of role exchanges that happen in my day-to-day work experience. So for role expectation as a server or a bartender, I have the expectation that's unsaid to, be kind and courteous, to provide customer service, to be available when my guests need something, when they, want to talk, um, about their day, what they're having to eat. So, when I come to work, I'm expected in my role to be dressed in my uniform, clean, ready to go, be prepared with my pens and my notebooks. And then my expectation is to greet the table just like any other server would. Ask how they're doing, ask if I can get them anything, take their order. So there's a certain role expectation in this position of just overall, like I said, customer service, going back and forth and having a verbal exchange with most guests, both related to the restaurant and small talk to establish like rapport with them so that um, the goal is to make a decent tip towards my wages. So when customers come into the restaurant, they also have like the role expectation to go back and forth to verbalize what they want and need. And then, with the exchange of the tip, possibly at the end, most restaurants expect between 15 and 20% to give your server as a tip. So there's a lot of expectations on both ends of the spectrum there. And then my second bullet point would be role performance. So my role performance is how an individual actually plays out that role or that role expectation. So, like I said, the expectation from me as the server is the good customer service, making small talk, taking their order, checking on them, making sure they don't need anything, reading through the menu if they have questions, explaining anything that they may be confused on the menu. So the role performance is more so, am I meeting that expectation? Am I performing in the way that they expect when they come and sit down into the restaurant? So when a guest sits down, they're expecting all of those things from me as the server or the bartender. Um, and you may get a server that does not act out their role performance correctly. They could be having a bad day. The guest and server might be having a bad experience. So sometimes you may stray from that role. If I were to walk up and not say hi and not have good customer service and maybe just, hey, what can I get you? That would not be performing in my role the way that's expected. So that kind of ties into the role expectation as well. And also the role performance is found on also in chapter 4 on page 99 as well in our textbook. And then the final concept that I wanted to talk about is social network. So this is found on page 101 in our textbook, also in chapter 4. I like that all of these terms kind of encompass each other because I see, like I said, I see a lot of role exchanges, expectations, performance. I see all of that. And especially since reading this textbook, I'm starting to be more aware once I am actually like performing in my job. I'm like, oh, wow, like I'm doing these things. So, a social network, just to summarize, is essentially a relationship between individuals that essentially bonds from something similar that they're all linked together with. So in my life, my social network would be other bartenders, other servers. When I go out to eat, having that social network connection, kind of having knowledge in what they're expected to participate in their role. What I expect as a server, what I'm expecting to receive from my server. Um, so an example specifically would be a lot of the times after I am done off of my shift, a lot of us, like servers or bartenders, may go out and get drinks after a shift. And we could be from different restaurants, but what's linking us socially is the fact that we all work the same position or relatively the same position in a similar setting, being the restaurant. So our social network, we can bond over experiences in the daytime, our wages, our guests, new drinks we may have, things that we like, things that we may not like, and it all relates to the same thing that links us, which would be the restaurant. Um, and then another social network that could be in my life are my coworkers. So even though, I might have a coworker that's a dishwasher, a cook, a manager, we are all experiencing the same um, career, the same job. So there's things to talk about. There's different perspectives on different ends of the restaurant, such as the front of house, the back of house, the manager positions, customer service positions. We all can share a same experience. We can all share similar stories, and we all have similar roles that we play in our day-to-day job. Just because I'm a server and I interact directly with the guest, may connect to the takeout person who also interacts with guests, but they have very short exchanges just through the window versus me when I serve a table, it may be an hour to 2 hours of providing customer service and being in my role and setting that role expectation and performing in my role. They may have a different role on a different side of the restaurant, but essentially we all are part of the same social network. So that is all I have for my three concepts for a textbook for Project One. I hope you enjoyed.